Good morning, I'm Adam Harris and this is the day ahead for the week finishing Friday the 21st of December 2018. If we have a look at the economic calendar in terms of high impact news, we do have a combination of US dollar and Canadian news coming out at 1:30 p.m. If we have a look at the currency markets, we can see that US dollar index took a knock away from the 97 level. In fact, it's now below the 96 level. And if we look at euro against the US dollar, we can see that euro dollar almost breaking outside of the range it's been stuck in. So that would be very interesting to see that kick off and see that unfold. So hoping for that to happen just to get a real change and get out of this range or this rut we've been in. If we have a look at the cryptocurrencies, we have finally got a weekly retracement happening. And so we'll have to see if that ultimately then resumes a downtrend, but certainly it's long overdue. So we will, in the shorter term, expect cryptos to increase in value. And then if we have a look at commodities, we've got a stronger gold. Fantastic. We've finally got silver testing its upper levels as well. May well break out of that today. Would be nice to see that finish well out of that range by close of market tonight. And oil heading lower. Then if we look at the global indices as well as the equities in focus, it now appears as though the bears are very much in control, breaking new lows and pretty much looking at downtrends along the way. So that being said, I'm going to head off on holiday soon. I hope you are too. I will be back in the first week of January. And until then, I do want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Don't let the grey beard fool you. I will be keeping an eye on you. So don't forget to be nice to your fellow man this season. And that being said, let's go to the charts and have a look at everything in more detail. Looking at the currencies first and looking at euro dollar, you can see it's starting to push, trying to get through that 1.14 level and higher 1.1450 level, but it really has to follow through. And what I'd like to see is to see it close a lot higher than the previous high. Going back to 7th of November, I want to see it close a lot higher to really kick that US dollar index into a bit more of a down move. Then having a look at cable. So cable is basically up at 1.27. That's really its big resistance. Plus, it's generally a weaker currency. So again, I'm going to need to see that crossover, and we may well get that by the end of the market close. I think this week the market's pretty tired, so we're going to have to see how that ultimately plays out, but that would be nice. Then having a look at CAD yen. So that was the swing that we took, that I took tail end of last week. Looks pretty good. At some point, it's going to have to do a bit of a retracement, but it looks nice and healthy. Aussie Kiwi is ping-ponging back and forth and really isn't sure of what it wants to do at this point in time. So that's kind of lost its trend, its momentum. Euro yen, actually not bad. Breaking through this level, not ideal, not the way I'd kind of look to do it. So what I may well do is let it retrace back, look for another entry, a swing entry, and take that at a later date. And so that'll be the next week. And then pound Swissy. Just the last one, also still turning over, rolling over, and still looks as though it's pretty much going to head down. So that's it for currencies for today, and actually looks like now that we've got through some of the big stuff this week, there's a little bit more peace and calm ahead of us. So with the crypto starting off with Bitcoin, I can see it's now starting to head up to break this previous low. So it's pretty much the same when I look at all three or all four of them. Having a look at Litecoin and Ripple, they're all doing a similar moves. This now, if we look at it on a weekly perspective, it takes on a bit more, makes a lot more sense. We're a little bit overextended on the weekly there, and I can see here with Ethereum, for example, it started a swing low. So my expectation is to see it pull back into the moving averages. Definitely some bullish divergence. So I will assess we're either going to get a change in trend, which means we'll start to see cryptos actually climb, or we'll get that consolidation. Really, this level here in this area is going to be where I can then determine how weak it is, if it can get through that. And so this is going to take a couple of weeks. I think we'll be able to revisit this in the new year and really see how it's going. But yeah, we might see it start to increase in value again. Then on to the commodities, looking at gold, nice solid breakthrough yesterday, potential retracement back to test this level. The MACD looking nice and healthy, so basically saying that the momentum looks good. It doesn't appear to be a false breakout at this point in time. Then looking at silver, encountering its resistance at 1480, so I really need to see that push through, and then it can start to move along. If we look at palladium, for example, and compare it to palladium, has a similar issue there. It's encountering some strong resistance, so both silver and palladium would be nice to see those kick out. Then if we have a look at, say, United States Brent oil, look at the US Brent oil, you can see it heading down. You can see some of that bullish divergence coming in. We're getting fresh lows in price, but we're not getting fresh lows on the indicator. And so that's implying that at some point we will get a potential reversal or a consolidation there. It's definitely overextended and is starting to show a bit of exhaustion. Then we have a look at Robusta. So I've got my eye on this for a potential swing entry. It looks like it's not going to be today. I'll be looking for this. Potentially, I'll consider whether I decide to trade at all over the festive season. But there's not going to be a lot. So I'm not actively going to be in front of the chart. But I will keep an eye on Robusta. And then lumber now officially in an uptrend, and it's worth my while now to look for any pullbacks, but I think I'm going to take a breather. Level of support, we got to break through that. I think I'll revisit this in January, but lumber now looking pretty nice and bullish there. And very nice bullish momentum there as well. It's now become convergent, so that all looks nice and healthy. So here we are with the global indices, having a look at Wall Street. You can see strong downtrend, and obviously we'll get our normal retracements. It's starting to break through those support levels, but you know, the indicators are looking nice and bearish. So no reason really to expect that trend to change. So looking for that to continue lower throughout the day. You can see that S&P 500 breaking through those levels. I mean, yeah, we've broken through those key support levels. So now the expectation would be for us to start to head lower. And that's relatively unusual, you know, for us to do this at this time of year. But you know what? It's doing it. It seems to be quite happy doing that. We've also got the tech down at key levels. And so for now, it looks pretty much as though we'll start to head down towards that 50 moving average or down to the next key level. So I've just highlighted all of these here, and we'll keep an eye on those over the coming weeks. Certainly from when I get back on about I think the 3rd of January is my first one. You can see Germany there kicking, falling through the floor there a bit. Hong Kong and Australia. So this is a weekly, and then we look at Australia 200 there, finishing off with that one. We've got this one on a monthly, and you can see overall starting to fall through that level of support, heading down to the next one. So that's really where my expectation is. That let's see how we do, and then take it from there. So yeah, for the moment we are pretty much fully bearish across the board. At least we have that agreement between the US and non-US indices. And then finally for today, looking at the equities in focus, we've got a weekly chart here for Facebook. So we're going to start to head lower. So instead of being on the daily, I'm looking at it sort of a bigger time frame, mainly because I need to see kind of what that momentum is like. Comparing this to say Amazon. So Amazon has been incredibly bullish, and we're going to start to see these start to get in terms of a correction back down into their fair value. So you could just see in the past it's kind of connected with the 10 and 20 moving averages. We're now heading into the 10 and 20, and we could even potentially go back down to say the 50. So it's not inconceivable that we could head down towards 900 if the market really wants to shed quite a bit of weight. That's perfectly acceptable, and that's perfectly allowed. I mean, as in that's allowed, so it's fine if it does that. So it'll just allow the market to take a bit of a breather if it's overvalued. You can see here Barclays now starting to push through its level of support, and then having a look at say Lloyd's as well. These ones are all now starting to push through levels of support. So what this likely means for me is coming back in the new year is going to look for shorting opportunities pretty much across the board and assessing where we are in about 10 to 14 days. So there we go, ladies and gents. I want to wish you again fantastic holiday. I hope that you've subscribed to this channel so you can get these videos in your inbox. I will be back on the 3rd of January, and yeah, have a great time, and yeah, have a good time and come back nice and refreshed. So thank you. Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.